We turn now to a federal report obtained by 9 News Investigates, and it calls into question just how a small trucking company managed to stay in operation for years while dodging many trucking rules.
That company ended up hiring a driver who now stands charged in a deadly crash in Jefferson County last month. Chris Vanderveen is joining us now, and today you learned the federal government has ordered that company to cease its operations.
There's something known as an imminent hazard order. It came out from the federal regulators last week. The report outlines a series of events that happened during the last 2 years. The report is nothing short of scathing when it comes to the day-to-day operations of Monique Trucking, based out of California. It says the tiny company couldn't do big things right, like having any semblance of a safety management plan, didn't test its drivers for drugs and alcohol use, allowed its drivers to operate semis without valid commercial driver's licenses, had no way of monitoring whether its drivers were driving beyond the hours of service limits, and had a disregard for sufficient tie-downs. That's a big deal because in June, Colorado State Patrol says a Monique Trucking semi was hauling heavy pipes when the driver lost control and the pipes went everywhere, which ultimately led to the death of 64-year-old Scott Miller. One of the country's leading truck safety advocates has a specific word for what this report reveals.
This is insane. If you take the time to read this order, this imminent hazard notice, and see how brazen and with totally reckless regard for the public, let alone the driver's safety, it's insane.
One more thing, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration issued what's known as an out-of-service order in April of this year after California State Patrol couldn't schedule a safety audit. When a driver was caught still driving in May, he showed a state trooper in Kansas a handwritten sign for a completely different trucking company. Despite that and everything else we've mentioned, on June 3rd of this year, the feds reinstated this trucking company's ability to haul freight. Just 8 days later, this crash happened in Colorado. We've reached out to the company owner and have yet to hear back. This really highlights a problem in this country. It is easy to start a trucking company, but in the end, the federal government's not doing a good job of figuring out who's good at it and who's not.